Real Madrid faces Atlético Madrid at the Metropolitano on Sunday in what's sure to be Real Madrid's biggest test of the season. So far, it hasn't looked good by any stretch of the imagination. The build-up play has been slow and predictable, and we have not been compact enough to stop the opposition from capitalizing in transition. In this video, I'll talk about the 5 things needed by Real Madrid to win the match against Atlético Madrid in what's going to be a very competitive match on Sunday. Number 1, Real Madrid's counter-pressing. Real Madrid's counter-pressing needs to be more aggressive than Atlético Madrid's. I'm expecting a physical match where Simeone's side tries to control the match by sitting in a deep block, but picking their moments to counter-press and having quick transitions. Diego Simeone's side does a great job of organizing their ball recovery, and out of possession, we have not looked compact enough to sit deep and invite pressure. This is why we can't sit in a deep block and look to just absorb their pressure, because between the lines, teams are finding space. And everybody knows right now we can't press the ball. So there needs to be more of an emphasis on counter-pressing, pressing the ball when the ball is lost, and not allowing Atlético Madrid to stretch us and try to play down the wings, which they successfully did the last time we traveled to the Metropolitano. So if we control the transitions in this game, we have a very good chance of winning it. Which brings me to point number 2, which is play Jude Bellingham higher up the pitch. Mbappe is injured for this game, which means we'll probably go back to the diamond formation, with Luka Modric coming into the starting lineup. This means that with the new formation change, we might be able to see Jude attacking the box, providing a much needed physical presence. In a game where we have Valverde, Tchouaméni, Modric, all midfielders on the pitch at the same time, you need Jude Bellingham to attack the box and to be that guy who might come on the end of a cross potentially. But we know that one of the things that Jude Bellingham does really well is he plays between the lines and he can receive the ball under pressure. So you might lose some of the things that he does really well. In our last game against Alaves, we saw Carlo Ancelotti deploy Jude Bellingham in possession higher up the pitch. That meant he wasn't really involved in the build-up phase. Tchouaméni and Valverde were both leading the ball progression, which leads me to my next point, which is continue to play with more width in possession. This is something that Carlo has adapted over the last few games. Unlike our opening match against Mallorca, where 4 of our attackers were in the same zone, over the last few games, we've seen Rodrigo's heat map change drastically, with an emphasis on playing wider on the right-hand side. Now, if Carlo Ancelotti plays with the diamond on Sunday, that means Rodrigo will likely play a little bit more centrally. And if that's the case, someone needs to be in the white space, particularly on the right-hand side. Carvajal was rested in the last game against Alaves, so I'm hoping that means he'll be fresh and he'll provide those overlapping runs. And that ultimately means that potentially Valverde will play a bigger defensive role in this match. Which brings me to point number 4, which is focus on the crosses coming into the box. This is where Atlético Madrid punished us the last time we played them at the Metropolitano. And not dealing with crosses coming into the box could be a disaster for us. I expect both Militao and Rudiger to start this match, and they're both really good in the air, but it's going to take more than just them dealing with crosses as they come in. We'll need to cut off the supply of crosses into the box. And that's where I'm hoping a player like Tchouaméni is going to play a huge role on Sunday. He could potentially be the most important player on the pitch on Sunday because his responsibility of screening and winning his duels will be critical. If he has a game like he did against Real Betis, we're going to be on a very strong footing. And my last and 5th adjustment that Carlo Ancelotti needs to make is the runs off the ball. This is either runs into the box or combining for short passes with runners creating space and making those darting runs into dangerous areas. I know that Carlo Ancelotti said that this season he wants the team to play a lot more vertically, but the last few times we've played Atlético Madrid, they've controlled the space in the wide areas, sometimes double or triple teaming Vinicius Jr. And that's why we need somebody in the half space attacking those zones rather than just being static. The only way you're going to beat a deep block like that is by moving around and not being static. This is a very key game for us. We can't afford to lose on Sunday. Going into October, being 7 points down to Barcelona is not a position you want to be in. Atletico Madrid just played yesterday and they had to wait till the 90th minute for them to score. We had a little bit more rest time, but this could be a turning point in the season for Carlo Ancelotti because so far it hasn't been good. But if we come out with a really strong performance in this game, we can start gathering some momentum. So far, we're 38 games undefeated in La Liga. And we all know that last season, they were the only team we lost to. So let's keep this streak going. Last thing we want is taking a loss in the same stadium 2 years in a row. That's not acceptable. I think we need to snatch their soul from the beginning. Although Mbappe is a great player, but having him injured means our pressing may be better and more synchronized. So I'd be interested to see how Carlo Ancelotti addresses the pressing and whether he'll tell the team to sit a little deeper in this match. But there's no question there needs to be more intensity on and off the ball. What are you guys' prediction for this match? One thing I know is we cannot afford to lose. Thank you for watching. Hala Madrid.